Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Maria, and today I'm going to be trying out a few new products. One being the Dior, it's the Super Potent Serum Foundation. I also picked up a Tom Ford, it's the new shade in Illuminate blush, and I also picked up the new Tom Ford concealer. And while I was doing a shop at Harrods, I also picked up, it's from a newly released matte collection, but I only picked up the lipstick. It's in the Amplified Cream formula, so I thought I would give that a try. I've already put on some primer today, and it is the by Terry Hyaluronic Hydra-Primer. This arrived in the mail today. I got this directly from the by Terry website. I tried a sample of this a couple of weeks ago. I thought I would give a couple of the packets of the sample that I had. So it was enough for me to have at least a few days worth, and I really like this primer. Those of you that have seen my other videos recently, the last few months, I have been using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I still really love that, but this is really beautiful as well. For some reason, I just didn't think it would go very well with my oily skin, but even though it's got that moisturizing benefits of the hyaluronic acid, it's actually a mattifying formula. So it just feels really beautiful. It doesn't feel dried down once you've put it on. It just has this really gorgeous base for the rest of your makeup and your foundation and for the rest of your makeup. So let's start off with the foundation. So here is the packaging for the foundation. I got this in the shade 2N. They didn't seem to have a 2.5N. As I said, I picked this up at Harrods. So it went from 2N and then to 3N. And I thought it was probably better to go a little bit lighter. I can always warm it up with bronzer than have a foundation that's too dark. This has 30 mils of product. It also has an SPF of 20. And as you know, if you've watched my other videos, I don't rely on SPFs that are in foundations. They are a bonus, but when I finish my skincare in the mornings, I always put on a generous amount of sunscreen as my final step. So this has 30 mils of product. It is made in France. The interesting thing about this foundation, well, one, it's a serum, and I haven't actually tried a serum foundation before. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like with my oily skin. The other thing is this actually makes quite a few claims. So I'm just going to have a look at the Dior website, and there's quite a big description, so I won't go through all of it. But basically what it says is that it corrects the 4 dimensions of the skin for a youthful complexion, helps with firmness, wrinkles, dark spots and radiance, and it's supposed to give a luminous type of finish. So let's take a look inside, so see what it looks like. So here is the bottle. It just has a pull off lid with a pump dispenser, has the usual Dior logo on the top of the lid, and this has a shelf life of 12 months from date of opening. But I've had foundations that last quite a bit longer than what they say on the packaging. So what I'm going to do, I did, when I got this in the mail this morning, I did put one pump on the back of my hand because I was curious to see if it was going to be far too light, but I think it's actually going to be okay. So I'll put a pump on the back. We'll just start off with one pump. Usually I use maybe 1.5 pumps. And this is the formula. It's slightly runny, but it doesn't seem too bad, and it doesn't seem too thick either. It's sort of what I expected from a foundation that says it is a serum type of formulation. So today I'm going to use a beauty blender to put this on. So I'll just pick up a bit and dot some around and then blend it in. I'm expecting the finish to be a light to light medium type of finish. This does have a scent, but it's not heavily scented in any way. It's certainly not overpowering. And because it is a skincare serum type of foundation and not one that's geared really, well, doesn't say for oily skin or is a mattifying type of formula, I will place just what is left on the excess of the sponge, a small amount under my eyes and also over my eyelids as well. So I would say that this foundation gives a light to medium type of coverage. I don't know whether you can see, but I can faintly see just a little bit of redness still on my cheek area, but it does give a really beautiful coverage. It feels really lovely on the skin. It feels quite moisturizing. At this stage, it does feel like I would need to set it down because I know in an hour or two that my oils will start to come through. It is spring here now in New Zealand, so the temperatures are, it's not hot, but it is slightly warmer than it was a few weeks ago. So I will set this down. But I just want to see whether this is a buildable, whether perhaps I can get it from a light medium to a medium. So I'm just going to put a little bit extra on each cheek and see if we can get a little bit more coverage. I'm just going to put a tiny more amount on the back of my hand and just go over with the sponge. It should build fairly well, being a moisturizing type of formulation. So with that extra layer of foundation just here and here, I was able to get the foundation more towards a medium type of coverage, and it certainly covered that redness just that little bit more. I think this foundation at this stage gives a really beautiful finish. But as I said, I will set this down with powder. But first I'm going to try out the new Tom Ford, this is the shade and Illuminate concealer. I had to do a bit of a guess when it came to the shade because I got this from Harrods as well as some other products, and they didn't have the actual shade name, they just had the numbers, so I just had to guess, and so I got shade 2, and I'll have a look further on the Tom Ford website, and if I can match the number to the name of it, I'll put that down below as well. So this concealer has hyaluronic acid in it. It's supposed to be a medium type of coverage that is buildable, and they say it is crease proof. But of course, crease proof doesn't mean, like at my age, when you have wrinkles, that you're not going to be able to see those, because you are. The main thing for me is that it doesn't dry out. I'm hoping it won't, because it has that hyaluronic acid in it, and it doesn't get cakey looking throughout the day. So I'm only going to start off with a very tiny amount because I haven't even tried this yet. So I just want to see what the coverage is like. I'm hoping that this shade is going to be okay in the bottle. It looks like it's probably going to be quite a good match. So it has a doe foot applicator, which I quite like for putting on concealers, and I'll just have a look at the packet, and it has 5.4 mils of product, 0.18 fluid ounces, and it is made in Italy. So I'll just put a little bit in each corner. It could be maybe a little bit dark. So I'm only going to put a very tiny amount in each corner. And what I'll do is I'm just going to grab the Sonia G, one of the soft concealer, the Fusion brushes, and apply my concealer with that. Okay, so the shade actually looks to be an okay match, and it has gone on really beautifully. I don't know whether it would be more than a medium coverage. My eyes aren't really dark underneath, but I do have under each eye quite prominent veins, and that's only really just covering it. But it does give a beautiful finish, and it was really lovely to apply. So it'll be interesting to see how it wears throughout the day. But with the foundation and this concealer, I will update you on how these both wore. I plan to wear this for about 8 to 10 hours today, and I'll pin a comment once I've uploaded this video. So check that to see how this all performed during the day. So now off camera, I'm just going to powder my face. I'll also put some powder under my eyes. Under my eyes, I use the by Terry pressed powder. And for my face, I'll be using the Chanel. It's the Natural Finish loose powder. I'll also put my eye primer on, do my brows, put some eyeshadow mascara on, and then I'll be back and we'll take a look at the new Tom Ford blush. So let's take a look at the new Tom Ford blush that I got. This is in the shade Explicit Flush. These are made in Italy, just has the usual Tom Ford packaging, and it is 6.5 grams of product. Has the usual brown little pouch that these come in, and here is the shade. And this comes in 6 shades. I wasn't really sure which one to get. I think I'll probably pick up a couple of others if I really like this formula. So these, I'm just having a look on the website. These are formulated with rice silk powder. And they say that they're silky smooth, multi-dimensional shade duos. And each blush offers complementing semi-matte and highlighting hues for a light reflecting, youth enhancing glow. Now I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to pick up any of these blushes, so I have watched about 2 or 3 videos on them, and a couple of the people that were reviewing these thought they weren't that pigmented. I have about 3 or 4 of the other Tom Ford blushes and I love them. They're just absolutely stunning. So I'm going to use the Tukuhodo F03 brush, and I'm just going to, I think, start off with this shade here and pop that on first. So you can only just see a flush of colour with that shade, but we'll see what it's like once I put the other shade over the top. I'll just do the other cheek first. So now I'll just go into the brighter of the shades, and I think they're fairly pigmented actually. It's showing up really easily on my cheek. It's a beautiful colour. It blends beautifully as well. I thought that these would. The other blushes that I have of his are really, really beautiful. Well, I think that blush gives a beautiful flush of colour. There's, for me, no issues with the pigmentation at all. Maybe it's the colours that I chose, but they look really, really pretty. As I said, it blends out really, really beautifully. So finally we'll put on the new lipstick that I got. So this is from the limited edition. It's the Tempting Fate collection. There was also some other items as well, including an eyeshadow palette, but I just decided to pass on that. This shade is called Honor Petal Still, and it's supposed to be Baroque type of packaging, and it does look really, really gorgeous. Now this formula is in the amplified cream formulation, which I really like. Years ago I used to buy lots of MAC products, and this is one of the formulas that I used to buy in particular because I just like the way that it feels on the lips. So the packaging is really, really beautiful. and it's just the normal MAC packaging with a pull-off lid. And here is the bullet. I'll do a swatch of the colour on the back of my hand so you can take a look. I really liked the look of this colour, and I knew it was one that I would wear quite a lot. So it's a fairly understated type of colour. These are the sort of lipsticks that I really love. So I'll pop some on. Well, that is a really beautiful colour, and it actually matches the blush that I got as well. This is described as a really beautiful type of autumn colour, and that's exactly what it is. And even though it's spring here in New Zealand, I don't mind wearing these type of autumn shades. I think it looks really, really pretty. So overall, I'm still really liking this foundation. I've had, as I normally do with videos, a couple of breaks and been doing some other things. So I've actually been wearing this foundation now probably for close to 2 hours. I did lightly powder it. I didn't go in heavy at all. And it doesn't feel as though it needs powdering just yet. And it's quite warm in the room here. It hasn't settled into any of my lines. I think it looks really, really beautiful. But as I said, I will give an update on that. I think the concealer, I was quite lucky with the colour. I think it matches quite well to the other concealers that I have. I'm going to probably have to use it a few more times to decide whether I really like it. But I'll update you as well as to the wear of this concealer. Really what I'm looking for is that it doesn't move around. It doesn't cake up, and it doesn't crease too much into my wrinkles under my eyes. The blush is beautiful. I thought the formula, it just blended like a dream, and I had no issue with the pigmentation whatsoever. But like I said, I might have just been lucky with the colour that I chose, but I think they're really, really beautiful. And even though I got this blush from Harrods, they're now actually available in New Zealand. So I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 more. I just think they're really, really pretty. And the lipstick is gorgeous. And this formula of the Amplified Cream is really beautiful, feels comfortable on the lips, and I really love this colour. So overall, really happy with the products I bought. I will update you on how the foundation and the concealer wore with a pinned comment. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.